The day Earth changed forever started like any other. People went about their daily lives, unaware of the cosmic shift about to occur. As the sun rose over New York City, strange lights appeared in the sky. At first, people thought it was a new ad campaign or a movie stunt. But as massive ships emerged from the clouds, reality set in. Humanity was not alone in the universe. News spread fast. Every TV channel, radio station, and social media platform exploded with the same message. Aliens are here. Panic gripped the world. Some people ran to churches and temples. Others stocked up on food and water. Many just stood in the streets, looking up at the sky in wonder and fear. The alien ships didn't attack. They just hovered there, silent and waiting. After a few hours, they sent a message to every electronic device on Earth. It was simple and clear. We come in peace. We wish to speak with your leaders. World leaders scrambled to respond. The UN called an emergency meeting. In less than a day, representatives from every country gathered in New York. The aliens agreed to meet them there. As the world watched, the alien ship landed in Central Park. The grass bent under its weight, and trees shook from the force of its engines. A door opened, and out stepped the aliens. They looked almost human, but not quite. Their skin was pale blue, and they had large, almond-shaped eyes. They wore sleek suits that seemed to glow. The leader stepped forward and spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Empire. We rule over 10,000 worlds across the stars. We have come to offer you a choice." The aliens' words sent chills through everyone listening. The UN Secretary General, a usually calm woman, struggled to keep her voice steady as she asked, "What choice?" The alien smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "Join our empire or face destruction. We offer you the stars, technology beyond your wildest dreams, and a place in the greatest civilization in the galaxy. But we do not tolerate resistance. You have one Earth month to decide." Shock rippled through the crowd. Reporters shouted questions, but the aliens ignored them. They turned and walked back to their ship. In moments, they were gone, leaving only flattened grass as proof they were ever there. The world erupted into chaos. Every country had a different opinion on what to do. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to surrender. No one could agree. In the midst of this chaos, a small group formed. They called themselves Earth's Last Stand. Made up of scientists, soldiers, and ordinary people, they believed Earth should fight back. They knew it was a long shot, but they couldn't accept becoming slaves to an alien empire. As governments argued, Earth's Last Stand worked in secret. They gathered information, made plans, and prepared for a war they knew would be nearly impossible to win. Days passed. The deadline grew closer. The world waited, tense and afraid, for the return of the Galactic Empire. Would Earth join the stars or burn in defiance? The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and time was running out. In homes, offices, and streets around the world, people debated what to do. Families argued over dinner tables. Friends stopped talking to each other over disagreements. The whole planet felt like a powder keg ready to explode. But in a hidden lab, deep underground, Earth's Last Stand made a discovery. An old technology, forgotten for centuries, that might just give humanity a fighting chance. As they worked to understand it, they knew they were in a race against time. The aliens would return soon. And when they did, Earth would have to be ready. The biggest fight in human history was about to begin. And no one knew how it would end. 2 weeks had passed since the aliens left. The world was still in chaos, but now there was a glimmer of hope. In their secret underground lab, Earth's Last Stand had been working nonstop. They had found something big. Dr. Sarah Chen, the lead scientist, stared at the strange device in front of her. It looked like a mix between a computer and a crystal ball. "I think we've got it working," she said to her team. "This could change everything." The device was old, really old. It had been found in an ancient temple deep in the Amazon rainforest. For years, it had sat in a museum, thought to be just a pretty artifact. But now, they knew it was so much more. As Dr. Chen activated the device, the room filled with a soft blue light. Holographic images appeared in the air, showing star systems and alien worlds. But more importantly, it showed weapons and shields far beyond anything humans had ever seen. It's some kind of database, Dr. Chen explained to the military officers watching. It contains knowledge from an ancient civilization, one that fought the Galactic Empire long ago. General Williams, a tough old soldier, leaned in for a closer look. "Can we use this to fight back?" he asked. Dr. Chen nodded. "I think so. But we need to work fast. We only have 2 weeks left before the aliens return." As the team got to work, news of their discovery spread. Governments around the world sent their best scientists and engineers to help. For the first time since the aliens arrived, people felt a sense of unity and purpose. In factories and labs across the globe, people worked around the clock. They built new weapons based on the ancient designs. Shields that could stop the aliens' lasers. Engines that could power spaceships faster than light. But it wasn't easy. The technology was complex, and time was short. There were accidents and setbacks. A lab in Russia exploded, setting their work back days. In China, a test of the new shields failed, injuring several scientists. Despite the challenges, they kept going. They knew the fate of the entire human race depended on their success. As they worked, they learned more about the ancient civilization that had created the device. They had been called the predecessors, and they had once ruled the galaxy. But they had disappeared long ago, leaving only fragments of their advanced technology behind. 1 week before the deadline, Earth's last stand made another breakthrough. They managed to activate a communication system hidden within the device. Suddenly, they could intercept the aliens' transmissions. What they heard shocked them. The Galactic Empire wasn't as united as they had claimed. There were rebels and dissidents within their ranks. Some alien races under their rule were planning to revolt. This information gave Earth a new strategy. They could fight the Empire from within, turning their own people against them. As the final days ticked by, the whole world held its breath. The new weapons were ready, but untested in real battle. The shields were in place around major cities, but no one knew if they would hold. Earth's military forces trained day and night with the new technology. Pilots learned to fly ships that could reach the stars. Soldiers practiced with guns that could melt through alien armor. On the last night before the aliens were due to return, Dr. Chen stood on the roof of the lab, looking up at the stars. "We're as ready as we'll ever be," she said to General Williams, who stood beside her. The old soldier nodded. "Let's just hope it's enough." As dawn broke on the day of the aliens' return, the world was quiet. In homes and bunkers, on ships and in tanks, humanity waited. They had done all they could. Now, it was time to see if it would be enough to save Earth. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. The greatest battle in Earth's history was about to begin. And thanks to the ancient device and the hard work of Earth's last stand, they just might have a chance. The sky turned red as the Galactic Empire's ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Thousands of alien vessels, each bigger than a city, cast dark shadows over the land. The time had come. Earth's first intergalactic war was about to begin. In the command center of Earth's last stand, Dr. Sarah Chen and General Williams watched the radar screens fill with enemy dots. "They're here," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of computers. General Williams nodded grimly. "Let's show them what humans can do." He pressed a button, and his voice echoed across every communication channel on Earth. "All units, engage." The battle began in space. Earth's newly built starships, piloted by the bravest men and women, rose to meet the alien fleet. They were outnumbered 10-1, but they had surprise on their side. As the alien ships opened fire, expecting an easy victory, their lasers bounced harmlessly off the Earth shields. The aliens paused, confused. In that moment of hesitation, Earth struck back. Beams of energy, based on the ancient technology, lanced out from Earth's ships. They cut through the alien vessels like they were made of paper. Explosions blossomed in the black of space, silent but beautiful. On the ground, things were more chaotic. Alien dropships managed to land troops in major cities. The streets of New York, London, and Tokyo became battlefields. But here, too, humanity had surprises waiting. Soldiers wielding energy rifles stood their ground against the alien invaders. Every shot counted. Every alien that fell gave the humans more hope. In Central Park, where the aliens had first landed a month ago, a fierce battle raged. Sarah watched the feeds from around the world, her heart pounding. They were holding their own, but for how long? The Empire's forces seemed endless. Suddenly, an alarm blared. "We've got a problem," a technician shouted. "They're targeting our power plants." If the aliens took out Earth's power grid, all their new defenses would fail. Sarah realized they had overlooked this vulnerability. She turned to General Williams, panic in her eyes. But the old soldier was already moving. "Activate Plan B," he ordered. Across the globe, hidden generators powered up. They were based on the ancient technology, providing clean, nearly unlimited energy. As the aliens destroyed power plant after power plant, they were puzzled to see Earth's defenses still standing strong. The battle raged for hours. Earth took heavy losses, but they gave as good as they got. Cities burned, but their people fought on. In the skies above, the space battle turned into a grueling contest of attrition. Just when it seemed Earth might actually win, the Empire unveiled their secret weapon. A massive ship, easily twice the size of the others, appeared from behind the moon. It fired a beam of energy so powerful it cut a swath across North America, from New York to Los Angeles. Millions died in an instant. The command center shook, systems failing left and right. Sarah picked herself up from the floor, ears ringing. "We need to fall back," she coughed, helping General Williams to his feet. But the old soldier shook his head. "No," he said, a fierce light in his eyes. "We hit them with everything we've got. It's all or nothing now." Sarah nodded, understanding. She ran to the ancient device, fingers flying over its controls. "I think I can overload it," she said. "Create a pulse that might disable their ships. But it'll fry all our tech too." "Do it," Williams ordered. Sarah took a deep breath and activated the sequence. The device hummed louder and louder, the sound becoming painful. Just as she thought it might explode, it released a wave of energy that swept across the Earth and out into space. Every electronic device on the planet went dead, but so did the alien ships. They fell from the sky like stones, crashing into the ocean or burning up in the atmosphere. As the dust settled, Sarah looked out a window at the devastated landscape. They had won, but at a terrible cost. The real question was, could they rebuild before the Empire sent reinforcements? The first battle was over. Earth had survived, bloody but unbowed. But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The war for humanity's future had only just begun. 3 months had passed since the first battle. Earth was a changed planet. Cities lay in ruins, but from the ashes, a new hope was rising. Humans, known for their resilience, were rebuilding and preparing for the next attack. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the newly constructed underground lab, surrounded by a team of the world's brightest minds. The ancient device, although damaged in the last battle, still held secrets they were desperate to uncover. "We've made a breakthrough," Sarah announced, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "We've found a way to not just defend against the Empire's weapons, but to turn them against them." General Williams, looking older but more determined than ever, leaned forward. "Explain," he said simply. Sarah activated a holographic display. "We can create a field that absorbs their energy weapons and redirects the power to our own systems. The more they shoot at us, the stronger we become." A murmur of excitement ran through the room. This could change everything. Meanwhile, in space, human ships were venturing further from Earth. They had been running guerrilla-style attacks on the Empire's supply lines, hitting fast and disappearing before the enemy could respond. Captain Javed Khan, piloting Earth's most advanced stealth ship, led one such mission. His team had just taken out a major fuel depot when they intercepted a strange transmission. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "you need to hear this." The message was from a group within the Empire itself. They called themselves the Freedom Coalition, aliens who opposed the Empire's tyranny. They were reaching out to Earth, offering an alliance. Back on Earth, the news of potential alien allies spread like wildfire. It was a controversial topic. Many humans, still traumatized from the invasion, were wary of trusting any aliens. But Sarah and General Williams saw the potential. "We need all the help we can get," Williams argued in a tense meeting with world leaders. "We can't pass up this opportunity." After heated debates, a decision was made. Earth would cautiously accept the Freedom Coalition's offer. The next few weeks were a flurry of activity. Earth scientists worked with alien rebels, combining their technologies in ways never before imagined. New weapons were developed, defenses strengthened, and strategies formed. But the Empire wasn't idle. They had been licking their wounds, but now they were back, angrier than ever. This time, they didn't just attack Earth. They targeted every planet that showed signs of rebellion. The galaxy erupted into all-out war. Earth, once isolated and alone, now found itself at the center of a cosmic conflict. Human ships, aided by alien allies, darted between the stars, striking at the Empire wherever they could. On a distant planet, Captain Khan's team worked with a group of insectoid aliens to sabotage an Imperial factory. In the asteroid belt, human miners used their skills to set up hidden bases and repair stations for the rebel fleet. Sarah, always pushing the boundaries of science, made another startling discovery. The ancient device wasn't just a database or a weapon. It was a key to something much bigger. "I think," she told General Williams one night, her voice hushed with awe, "that we found the location of the predecessor's homeworld. If we can get there, who knows what we might find." The news spread through the rebel alliance like a shockwave. The predecessors, the mysterious ancient race that had once defeated the Empire, might not be as gone as everyone thought. As excitement built, a sobering reality set in. The path to the predecessor's world was deep in Empire territory. Getting there would be nearly impossible. But humans had a saying, "Nothing is impossible," and they were ready to prove it. As Earth's forces prepared for their most daring mission yet, rumors began to spread through the galaxy. Humans, the primitive species from a backwater planet, were not to be underestimated. They had done the impossible once. Could they do it again? The tide of war was turning. The Empire, once seeming invincible, was now looking over its shoulder. And at the heart of it all was Earth, a small blue planet that refused to give up. The next phase of the war was about to begin. And this time, humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. They were fighting to reshape the galaxy. The galaxy held its breath. For months, the Empire had been eerily quiet. Earth and its allies had grown cautiously optimistic. Maybe, just maybe, they were winning. They were wrong. The attack came without warning. Thousands of Imperial ships, more than anyone had ever seen, poured out of hyperspace. They didn't just target Earth. Every rebel world, every allied species, every free planet felt the Empire's wrath. On Earth, alarms blared. General Williams rushed to the command center, his face grim. "Status report," he barked. Sarah, her hair messy from late-night research, pointed to the screens. "It's bad," she said. "They're hitting us everywhere. Our outer colonies are already falling." The battle in space was chaos. Captain Javed Khan's ship spun through a field of debris, narrowly avoiding enemy fire. "We need backup," he shouted into his comm. But help wasn't coming. Everyone was fighting for their lives. On the ground, things were even worse. The Empire had learned from its last defeat. This time, they targeted Earth's power sources first. Cities went dark. Defenses failed. Panic spread. Sarah watched in horror as their hard-won gains crumbled. The technology they'd developed, the alliances they'd formed, none of it seemed enough against the Empire's overwhelming force. In New York, the Statue of Liberty crumbled under alien fire. In Beijing, the Great Wall became a battleground. In Rio, Christ the Redeemer stood witness to the devastation below. But humans didn't give up. In the darkness, they fought back. With whatever weapons they had, from advanced energy rifles to simple baseball bats, they resisted the invasion. In London, a group of teenagers used skateboards to zip between alien patrols, planting homemade bombs. In Mumbai, a Bollywood stunt team turned their skills to real-life action, ambushing alien squads. Yet for every small victory, there were devastating losses. The Empire's new weapons were terrifying. They had devices that could turn the ground to liquid, swallowing entire buildings. Beams that could strip the atmosphere from a planet. Bombs that distorted time itself. Sarah and her team worked frantically to counter these new threats. But they were always one step behind. "We need more time," she told General Williams. "If we could just reach the predecessor's world." But that dream seemed further away than ever. The path to the ancient homeworld was now blocked by the largest concentration of Imperial forces ever seen. As the days passed, more and more of Earth fell silent. The great human cities, once bustling with life, became graveyards. The Empire's message was clear: resist and be destroyed. In orbit, the last of Earth's space fleet made a desperate stand. Captain Khan, his ship barely holding together, led a suicidal charge against an Imperial dreadnought. They managed to destroy it, but at a terrible cost. Khan's ship, along with a dozen others, vanished in the explosion. On the ground, General Williams coordinated what remained of Earth's defenses from a hidden bunker. "We can't hold out much longer," he told Sarah, his voice heavy with exhaustion. Sarah nodded, tears in her eyes. She looked at the ancient device, now cold and silent. All their hopes, all their dreams of turning the tide, seemed lost. But then something unexpected happened. As an Imperial ship prepared to fire on the bunker, it suddenly exploded. Then another, and another. Confused, Sarah checked their sensors. What she saw made her gasp. A new fleet had arrived. But these ships were like nothing they'd ever seen before. They moved in impossible ways, their weapons cutting through Imperial defenses like they weren't even there. A message came through on all frequencies, in a language no one had heard for millennia. Sarah's eyes widened as the ancient device in the lab suddenly hummed to life. Translating: "We are the predecessors. We have returned, and we stand with Earth." As hope flickered back to life, Sarah realized this wasn't the end. The real battle was just beginning. The arrival of the predecessors changed everything. Their advanced ships cut through the Imperial fleet like a hot knife through butter. But the Empire wasn't going down without a fight. In the chaos of battle, a small team led by Dr. Sarah Chen and Captain Jod Khan, who had miraculously survived, boarded a predecessor ship. They needed answers, and they needed them fast. The inside of the ship was like nothing they'd ever seen. Walls shifted and changed, responding to their thoughts. A holographic figure appeared before them, tall, ethereal, with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. "We are the last of the predecessors," the figure said. "We have slumbered for eons, waiting for a species worthy of our legacy. Humanity has proven itself." Sarah's mind raced. "The device we found. It was a test." The predecessor nodded. "A key and a test. You have unlocked potential few races ever achieve." But there was no time for long explanations. The Empire was regrouping, preparing for one final, massive assault. This would be the battle that decided the fate of the galaxy. Back on Earth, General Williams rallied what was left of humanity's forces. People from all walks of life. Soldiers, teachers, farmers, children stood side by side, ready to defend their home. The predecessors shared their technology, but warned it would take time for humans to fully understand it. "You must hold the line," they said. "The future of the galaxy rests on this moment." As Imperial ships darkened the skies once more, humanity prepared for its last stand. But this time, they weren't alone. Allies from across the galaxy, the Freedom Coalition, and other races inspired by Earth's resistance, joined the fight. The battle that followed was beyond anything seen before. Imperial weapons clashed with predecessor technology. Human ingenuity mixed with alien strategies. The very fabric of space seemed to warp and twist with the intensity of the conflict. In New York, a teenager named Miguel used a predecessor device to turn the Statue of Liberty into a giant robot, battling alien walkers in the harbor. In the mountains of China, monks channeled predecessor energy through ancient techniques, creating shields that protected entire cities. Sarah and Javed, back on Earth, led a daring mission to infiltrate the Imperial command ship. Their goal: to use the ancient device, now supercharged with predecessor knowledge, to shut down the Empire's entire fleet. As they fought their way through the ship, they saw the true face of the Empire, not just cruel leaders, but countless beings trapped in a system of oppression and fear. Reaching the core of the ship, Sarah began the process of activating the device. But something went wrong. The power was too much, threatening to tear reality apart. "It's too unstable," Sarah shouted over the alarms. "If it goes off here, it'll destroy everything. Us, the Empire, maybe the whole galaxy." Javed looked at her, then at the device. In that moment, he made a decision that would echo through history. "Get out of here," he said, grabbing the device. "I'll fly this thing as far away as I can." Javed, "No," Sarah cried, but she knew there was no other way. As Sarah escaped in a pod, she watched Javed pilot the Imperial ship into a jump point, disappearing in a flash of light that outshone the stars. Moments later, a shockwave rippled through space. Every Imperial ship went dark, their systems completely fried. The war, which had raged across the galaxy, ended in an instant. But the cost had been enormous. As the dust settled, Sarah looked out at a changed Earth, battered, scared, but unbroken. Humans emerged from the rubble, blinking in the light of a new dawn. The predecessors, true to their word, began sharing their knowledge. The galaxy entered a new age of peace and discovery. And at the center of it all was humanity, no longer just inhabitants of Earth, but guardians of a galactic legacy. As rebuilding began, Sarah stood on a hill overlooking the ruins of her old lab. In her hand, she held a small piece of the ancient device, the last remnant of the technology that had changed everything. She looked up at the stars, now full of promise rather than threat, and whispered, "Thank you, Javed. We'll make you proud." The story of humanity's stand against the Empire would be told for generations to come. It was a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to be conquered. The galaxy would never be the same again. And neither would humanity. 5 years had passed since the fall of the Galactic Empire. Earth, once a backwater planet, now stood at the center of a new galactic community. The scars of war were still visible, but everywhere, signs of rebirth and growth could be seen. Dr. Sarah Chen, now the head of the Interstellar Cooperation Initiative, stood on the balcony of the newly built Galactic Council headquarters in Geneva. Below her, humans mingled with dozens of alien species, all working together to build a better future. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a familiar voice said behind her. Sarah turned to see General Williams, now retired but still active in galactic affairs. "I never thought I'd see anything like this," Sarah replied, smiling. The fall of the Empire had released countless worlds from tyranny, but freedom brought its own challenges. Some planets fell into chaos. Others clung to old hatreds. Earth, with its history of overcoming divisions, found itself in a unique position to guide the galaxy towards unity. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks and conflicts. But slowly, a new order was taking shape. The predecessors, true to their word, shared their knowledge. But they did so carefully, ensuring that the younger races developed wisdom along with technology. They became advisors, not rulers, respecting the autonomy of each species. One of the biggest challenges was dealing with former imperial citizens. Many had been born into the empire, knowing nothing else. Sarah led efforts to integrate them into the new Galactic society, showing that reconciliation was possible. As Sarah and Williams walked through the council halls, they passed a memorial to those lost in the war. At its center was a hologram of Captain Jowd Khan, his sacrifice honored by all. "Any news on the search?" Williams asked quietly. Sarah shook her head. After the final battle, teams had been sent to find any trace of Jowd or the Imperial command ship. So far, they'd found nothing. But Sarah refused to give up hope. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message. A situation was developing in the Andromeda galaxy. Long-range sensors had detected signs of another empire, potentially as powerful as the one they defeated. In the emergency council meeting that followed, debates raged. Some wanted to build up defenses, fearing another war. Others argued for peaceful contact. Sarah listened to all sides, then stood to speak. 5 years ago, we faced extinction. We survived because we stood together, because we dared to hope. Now, we have a choice. Do we let fear rule us, or do we reach out with open hands? Her words resonated through the chamber. In the end, the council voted to send a diplomatic mission, led by Sarah herself. As preparations for the mission began, Sarah visited the science labs, where researchers studied the remnants of the ancient device. They had made breakthroughs in energy production, medicine, and faster-than-light travel. But the device's deepest secrets remained a mystery. One young scientist approached Sarah with excitement. "Dr. Chen, we've detected a signal. It's faint, but it matches the quantum signature of the device Captain Khan took." Sarah's heart raced. Could Jowd still be out there, lost in some distant corner of the universe? As she boarded the ship that would take her to Andromeda, Sarah felt a mix of emotions. There was anxiety about the unknown empire they would encounter, hope for a peaceful exchange, and a personal yearning to uncover the fate of her friend. The ship, named Phoenix, in honor of humanity's rebirth, was a marvel of combined human ingenuity and predecessor technology. As it prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, Sarah looked out at the Earth growing smaller in the viewport. So much had changed. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. They had not only saved themselves but had become guardians of galactic peace. The Phoenix leaped into FTL, streaking towards humanity's next great adventure. Whatever awaited them in Andromeda, Sarah knew one thing for certain. The spirit that had allowed humanity to stand against an empire would guide them in facing any challenge the universe had to offer. As stars streaked by, Sarah whispered the words that had become humanity's new motto. "Together, we are limitless." The story of humanity's stand against the Galactic Empire was over. But their journey, their story in the vast tapestry of the cosmos, was just beginning.